Hello, everyone. Good morning, and welcome back to the Glassman's World. We're about to get started here, so I just wanted to show you guys. This is some of the glass that I worked on yesterday. I had to make a whole bunch more of the drop of water. So there's 37 right there, my number 37. Always trying to make glass in batches of 37. Also, the jellyfish that I made. Let me see if I can show you this here. So this is the jellyfish. You probably can't get all the full detail there, but you can see some of the tentacles there. And yeah, it came out pretty nice. And then also the other individual pieces that we made were the spiral, the green mushroom, and then the multicolor mushroom, which is still just one color, but being that it's a color changing uh, glass color, it works out to look like a multicolor. So let me just get this camera set up here and we can get things going once again. So we are about to get started with the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta. You guys, the Balloon Fiesta here in Albuquerque, it is the largest international balloon fiesta in the world, I do believe. Um, there may be another festival that's going on in France that is now competing with the with the world's uh, best or biggest. Here, I'm gonna turn that just in case, so we don't get any sort of issues with copyright infringement or anything. So so yeah, we're getting started with some glass balloons. I actually don't have any balloons. Oh, well, here's one. I believe this one's cracked, but I can at least show you what they look like. So this is the basic glass hot air balloon. You can find them on facebook.com/glass hot air balloons, or I think also just glass balloons. I think it'll come up as well. This one's got a nice like a purple with I believe cobalt blue. And so it's a dark cobalt blue with like a purple, kind of like a violet color there. It's one of my lighter color purples that I have that I can work with. And so as you can see, it's pretty nice. It's a 1 inch around, about 1 inch or so, maybe a little bit bigger. 1 inch wide, I'm guessing, I'm assuming. Um, I don't have any way to really measure it out. Well, actually, not true at all. Not true at all. So we actually have calipers here. So that is that in inches? I think that's 1.5 inches right there. And then wide, like I said, it's about an inch wide. So yeah, about an inch wide. And from top to bottom, it's about an 1.25 inch, and including the bail or the loop, that's a 1.5 inches right there. Sorry guys, I didn't have that in the camera at all, but that's 1.5 inches with just the balloon itself. It's about 1.25 inches, and then on its side, it's about an inch wide, very close, give or take. So that is the measurements there for these balloons. And this is one style here. And here's another generic basic style balloon that I make. So I can do them either this way, or I can make them like this, where they'll have just solid colors coming straight down. And then these ones are just spiraled, and then with the clear glass to give all of the what do you call them, the gores, or the different, the different panels of glass. So these are These are two different basic styles of hot air balloons that I have available. I sell them for $20, two for 30. They can easily be sold at balloon festivals for $30 up to $50 each. And especially at Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, being that it's a very exclusive item, it's not like these can be mass produced in the tens of thousands. I might be able to make 10,000 of these every year. And I don't even know if I can make that many. I think, what was it that I figured out? It was like, maybe I can make like 3 to 5,000 per year. But then that's not including like giving myself time for other things or something. I don't know. I don't really remember specifically, but we're gonna attempt to make some hot air balloons today. So let's get these out of the way here. Let's see if I have some sort of a bag or a container that I can put these in. Just make sure there's no holes in the bag. All right, so we're gonna put all 37 of these water drops. These are known as the drop of water, which you can find on Facebook as well, facebook.com/the drop of water. And the drop of water represents water. Water is life. Every drop counts. We've been gifting these water drops to water protectors ever since Standing Rock. I started making these around November, I think it was November 22nd, somewhere around there, that they were basically created. And the drop of water, we've been gifting these to water protectors since we were invited to the Gathering of Nations powwow in 2017. So look up the Buffalo Dance, Gathering of Nations powwow 2017, and you'll see me there actually standing with this sign. And let me swivel you around real quick, and I can show you the sign over here, possibly. So with that sign right there, Mini Wachoni, water is life, the drop of water. And so yeah, that is the actual official sign that was in that video there. So if you want to check that out, that is the Buffalo Dance 2017. All right, let me just get this set up again. All right, so we're about to get started. We're going to make some hot air balloons today. So the Balloon Fiesta, Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta, like I said, is the largest balloon fiesta in the world, except there could be another festival trying to push us off the map. So I don't know if Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta is just making sure that we're always going to go bigger. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be the case, and I don't know. I would think that we would always be known for the largest balloon fiesta in the world. But then at the same time, with new development of the entire city, there's not as many spaces, open fields, and open places for balloons to land anymore. So it gets difficult. It gets hard for landing, and maybe a place like in France, or where I believe it's in France, that they might be having possibly a larger balloon festival than we might be having here in Albuquerque. So with that being said, let's get started. Oh yeah, I did want to. Oh, did I show you this? That was the jellyfish that we made yesterday as well. So we made 37, the drop of water. We made these. We made a few other pieces for the demo yesterday to just show you what's available for wholesale. So if you want to check out that video, I'll try to post it up as well. And you can see what the wholesale is for these different pieces of glass, as well as for the jellyfish as well. And they're all about the same size. The jellyfish is a little bit bigger. Sometimes these actually do get even a lot larger as well. So, but yeah, these are all pretty nice there. All right, so let's get started today. Let's get our glasses on here. Sorry about that. My face is pretty much, um, the camera is right in front of my face, so that way we can get good audio, which I learned that the mic is actually built in on this webcam. Oh, sorry. I keep on hitting that. All right. Hopefully we don't tap that anymore. I'll try not to hit it with my big old head here. Actually, I got a little old head. Okay, so I'm just going to make a few basic balloons. I'm going to do some of these here. Like I said, we'll do some simple ones like this. And then we'll probably make a couple like this style as well. I'll try to keep those. You can't really see them. They're kind of far away, but there you go. All right. So what I was saying is that the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta has officially put their tickets for 2025 Balloon Festival or Balloon Fiesta on sale as of last Friday. You can now buy your tickets, purchase your tickets for admission for October. So we're months away, guys. We are months away, but literally the tickets just went on sale on Friday. So what was that? April April 4th? I don't even know what today is. I'm so lost in my days, but whatever Friday was, basically April, the beginning of April, tickets go on sale for Balloon Fiesta. The biggest thing is that the RV tickets, I believe, are now on sale. Unless they go on sale sooner, I'm not sure if they go on sale in January, but the RV tickets are like the hottest. Um, you know, the spaces are extremely limited for RVs. And if you can get a space to just camp out there at Balloon Fiesta, and you can go in and out of the park as you please, and you can go stay at your own RV, you could barbecue. Well, I don't know if you can bring out barbecue pits, but you can cook inside of your RV. I don't know if you can actually bring out barbecue pits. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if you can bring out propane or have open fire anywhere near there because of all the propane that's being released right there by the RVs and stuff. So we'll be out there. I believe it's the first weekend, maybe the second weekend of October. I'll be with Dawn Patrol once again, and with Rick Jones and Polar Dawn and the whole Polar Dawn crew. And we'll be out there early in the morning. We'll be on field by 5 a.m., unloading and up in the air by 6 a.m. I'll definitely be sure to have some of my glass balloons on hand. Always, anytime that I'm out there working and crewing, I always have glass balloons with me. So if you want to find me out there on the field, we're always in the middle row because we're the main show in the morning. We're the main morning show, middle row, row M, where the main stage is. You can't forget M, middle row, main stage, main show, the main morning show. We're amazing. Amazing, right? Nah, it is really amazing to be a part of the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta and just to have a lot of fun, just having fun, playing with balloons. Okay, so let me think. What do I want to do here? And it'll get a little bit of. No, that's not white. Let's put that off to the side. Oh, well, one thing that I'm noticing is I'm definitely going to have to up my glass, my color scheme here, as I don't see any more white. Are we completely out of white? No, we're not. Okay, we got a little bit of white here. I am going to attach this to another piece of glass here. We don't need one that big. Okay, we'll just use this one here. So we're just going to add this color glass to this. Basically, it's a handle, a glass handle. We're just going to be able to extend the white color so then I can use it all the way down to the very bottom and not waste any of it. There's a lot of glass artists who will use their colored glass all the way down to where it's too short to hold, but then they never punchy them up. And I don't understand why. I'm like, colored glass is $60 a pound. And once it's like that short, it gets in their scrap pile, which I guess that's kind of cool because then you always have a bunch of scraps, you know? I don't have a lot of scraps. That's my problem. So when I run out, when I'm out, I'm out. I don't have any more color. All right, so let's get this going here. We're basically just, oh, hold on a sec. Let's make sure we have another piece of glass on hand. So in order to make these, I need the rod, 16 millimeter rod. You need some sort of color for the design, for the patterns of the balloon. You'll need these the tweezers here, a reamer, of course, and I'm looking for. What am I looking for? Oh, the clear glass. Yeah, we got a lot of rods over here I can use. That's good to know. Where? Okay, there it is. All right, and then we need a clear glass rod, which this is hand pulled. This is like a 8, maybe 9 millimeter, but then it's got some bumps. It's not very. It's this part was really nice. That pull is nice, and then it just went, it just went out of hand. But that's hard to do, and I can use it anyways because I can pull it as thin as I need to. We'll also use the Norwex OptiCloth here, which removes all the dust, dirt, debris, and fingerprints without having to use Windex. No chemicals on the glass, guys. Then you burn it, and you have all that chemical to deal with as well. Okay, so let's make sure we're completely ready to go here. Got the torch set up. Hopefully you guys can hear me still. I love that the mic is actually right here in my face. I do believe that you can hear me a lot better without uh, a really bad hiss from the torch and the fan droning out over here. All right, so we're basically just gonna do the simple one here, the basic. It's my main pattern that I do. Sorry, burning incense here. It's always good to smudge, if you know what I mean. And keep your space and yourself all clean and cleansed and clear. It's always good to smudge. All right, so we're gonna heat up this 16 millimeter rod, the clear glass rod. We're gonna get this to where it's preheated, pretty much to the point where it's nice and wet or molten. Where it pretty much is flowing. If I were to indent it, touch it against something, it would make an indentation. This is all super gooey, real malleable and soft. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get our two colors here. We got red and we got white. And I don't really know what color balloons that I have on hand made. I do know I have some orange and peacock blue. I might have some red and white ones, but I'm not 100%. So then we're just going to draw about an inch and a quarter down. We'll make sure that that's, anytime that you add colored glass and you flame cut it off, there's usually a little nub that's left over at the very end. And so what I do is I flatten it down with my torch. Now, not everyone can use their torch the way I can. There's some torch bodies that are designed with just aluminum, and they could actually dent. But my torch here, you can use it. It's pretty solid, old school. It's not a Cadillac. It's more like what would you call this? Like a Dodge Dart. I don't know. So now we got those colors on there, as you can see. And we're going to get them molten, and we're going to get the whole piece of glass molten. And then we're going to use a punchy here. I normally use my shortest one. Is that it? No, this one here. I normally use the little tiny short one there for spinning and twisting up glass. And then this one here is the punchy that I use for when I have to take the glass off. And then I have some other pieces down here that I use for other things and extra punchies. All right, so basically this is kind of like, the spiral, the very basic spiral, where we push that colored glass inside the pendant, and then we get the whole entire piece all molten, and then spin it up. But this is going to be a really controlled spin. We're going to do our best to get it nice and flowing to where it's not just like an abstract spin. We want to have it to where the whole thing flows pretty good. And we just get that spiral to be about the same tightness. So now I'm just heating it up in one area and getting it to all be about that same tightness of glass and of spin. Let me see if I can show you what I mean here. So now you can see the colors are all spiraled right there, and they're spaced out pretty evenly. So the clear glass is about the same. If I heated it up too much in one area, it would be too tight. If I didn't heat it up enough here, it would be too open or too loose. So you want to get that spiral to be pretty consistent. And then, like I said, my torch, nice and sturdy. I could just snap it off right there. Now we have to melt all this down. It's all jagged. So we got to get it all molten again and round it down. And then we'll use the clear 7 to 9 millimeter rod that I hand pulled, and then we'll draw some lines over these to kind of mimic the balloon shape, the balloon pattern. So now we're just letting the torch do its job, heating it up. I'm focusing the glass into the torch on places where I need it to melt, focusing on parts where the color's still sticking up some. And then also, we're trying to get this to gather or round out or become like a marble on the end of the rod here to start forming the balloon shaping. But we don't want to round it out too much, not just yet. So we're going to kind of like make it like an egg shape or oval on the end of the rod here. Pretty much like we're making a water drop or a teardrop. So just like that, now all the colors are nice and smooth. And then we'll add the clear glass going over these vines in a vertical pattern in order to create the way that the balloons kind of pop out. You know, like this here. This is a really good example of what I mean by how the balloons, they kind of pop out. You know, they have those gores that go all the way down with all the different panels attached together or sewn together. All right, so now we have all those colors all spiraled, and then we're going to add this on top here. And I'm just going to do one on one side, one on the opposite side. Try not to move the lines. So we're only getting the clear glass molten. We're not getting any of the color or any of the balloon underneath molten at all. We'll push that down, always pushing that down, pushing it flat. Now we're going to go on the opposite side. We'll try to do it with the same amount of timing. So we heat up the glass in the same amount of timing, so then it'll lay about the same amount of glass each time. Now we're going to go in between those on the sides. Just flame cut it, mash that bottom down, go around to the opposite side here. So now we have 4 clear lines or clear rakes of glass going down on each side right there. And you can see that one's a little bit higher. I'm going to probably pull some of that glass off at the end to make it all consistent. So now we just do 4 more lines in between all of those. And you just want to cut them off, do the flame cut right at that same length as all the rest, so they're not, you know, it's hard to get them perfect, but you want to make sure that they're not too much longer or shorter than each other. But at the end, we're going to pull all of them anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But keeping things consistent, it's really important when you're blowing glass. All right, and hopefully today the Wi-Fi signal is better. I noticed yesterday that my Wi-Fi booster, it was covered up with a bunch of laundry. I'm not gonna lie. It's set up over there by where my daughter has a day bed set up, and all the laundry got piled up there, and I think it covered up the signal. So we'll see if this is a better signal today than yesterday. I apologize for that. Just need to get to that big old pile of laundry that's there. All right, so now I'm just going to clean this up because it's all jagged, and I want to be able to have it nice and clean for the next balloon that I'm making. So I always do this like prefab work in between all of my stuff just to get it ready. That way I'm not worrying about doing it on the next one. So that's ready to go. Now this here, yeah, that looks like a balloon, but the true shaping of balloon, it needs to be a lot rounder on that top side. This is kind of more of a racer balloon. A racer's, they're more elongated, more egg shaped. So, but we're gonna make this more a global, more rounded. So I'm gonna heat it up towards the center here. This is also gonna allow the clear glass, all the clear that I added on there. It's gonna allow it to basically sink in and adhere and fuse to the glass that's underneath, and basically all become one. But I don't want to melt it down to where then all those lines are gone. So I'm doing my best to make sure I don't melt them all the way down. And then like I said, I'm gonna get this center because we're gonna use our paddle here. Oh yeah, that's another item I forgot to say we were gonna use. We need the paddle for this as well. And then we're gonna basically force it down onto itself and make it more pronounced, more of a rounded balloon than more egg shaped. And that's how I do my balloons. I don't know how anyone else does theirs, but that really does, it makes that shaping really pronounced, you know, like compared to that one that's on the card right here. So now you got that, and then we just got to taper off this bottom right here. So now we get that same rod, right? The clear rod, the one that we all cleaned up. So now it's all nice on the end there. And we're gonna make a loop here. And actually I'll bring the flame down some. Sometimes I forget that I can bring my flame down because I'm used to I can work any size flame pretty much. All right, then we just figure out where do we want the front. Usually that's where I attach the loop to it first. Push it that way some. And then we'll stretch this. And then we'll push it back. And try to just go directly to the one opposite. And I'll make sure to adhere this. Just going to force it down. Forcing the loop onto the body right there. And then we're making sure that the hole doesn't close up on us as well. And then I try to make the loop to where it's big enough for at least my 2 millimeter cord to fit in, and then thinking also, maybe someone wants to try to put like a silver chain or a gold chain or something through the loop. So I want to try to make it big enough to where it's possible to do that as well. So that's how it looks, a little. I try to make it to where it's not sticking up too much to take away from the balloon shaping. And then right here, this is where, let's make sure the punchy is nice and clean. Got to have a nice clean surface here. No color or anything. Yeah, actually that is clean. All right. And then I just attach that to the loop. That way I can snap that off later. And we're going to flame cut this right at the bottom. We're going to taper it down. I see a few people watching. Good morning. How you guys doing? Or good evening, good afternoon. I don't know what time it is in your neck of the woods. I don't live in the woods. I live in the desert. I live in the high desert. We get all high over here in the desert because we're a mile high. So now we're just going to flame cut this. We're also in the high desert because it's 100% recreational for those of us who are 21 and over. So as you can see, these take some time. These aren't very quick like my $5 mushroom or spirals. These do take some time. And once I get in the flow of it, it gets a lot quicker. And also, if I'm not doing a live demonstration like this, I'm not talking, and that also delays me a little bit from, it distracts me from focusing as best as I can. So now we're going to flame cut this. We're going to get this ready for the next balloon. Make sure it's not too crazy. We'll round it out just a little bit. That's interesting. I see people are watching. I'm like, hello, how you guys doing? And now I see there's no one watching. It's like I scared them off for saying hi. Oh no, he saw us, run. All right, so now we're going to taper this off here. So that, some people might turn that into a balloon or whatever. I definitely wouldn't. That does not look like a balloon to me. We definitely need to pull this down and taper it a lot tighter. And then all this glass right here pretty much gets wasted. This is all just scrap glass right here, which is crazy. But there you go. Now you're getting that balloon shaping right there. Right? So then you get that balloon shaping. And some people will say that looks good, but I don't. I actually think it needs to get pulled a little bit more. Make it even smaller and tighter. I'll leave a little clear glass there. And then, like where's the color I need? And then we'll take some of this color here, which is like either butterscotch or caramel or caramel or however you want to say it. Caramels. All right, and then we're just going to add a little tiny dot on the bottom of this clear glass, just like that. Just attach it, pull it. Like I said, we want to make it tiny, so we're going to pull it just to leave a little bit on there. Just a little bit. That's all. And just round it up some. And then that's your basket right there. or the gondola. And that's a done balloon. So see, the basket is really, really tiny compared to the balloon. You know, if you look at an actual balloon picture, you can't even see the basket really compared to the balloon. You can't see the people, that's for sure. So, you know, for me, this is what I see as a true balloon shape. Unless I'm making a racer, then it would have to be a little bit more elongated and not so flattened on the top, more rounded on the top, more egg shaped. That's all. All right, and then hopefully I gave myself enough of an area to grab here. We should be able to snap this off and hopefully not drop it. We'll clean up the punchy mark on top of the loop or the bail. And I always go straight up and down, so that way that molten glass has the gravity pulling it down. That way it just falls naturally. And there's a done hot air balloon for you guys right there. I'm going to put this in the kiln right away so I don't accidentally drop it. All right, let me just grab it like this. All right, I can show you now. All right, there you go. That's a done balloon right there. So these I wholesale. Like I said, I retail them for $20 personally, but they're easily worth $30 and up. $50, $49.99 easily, especially at Balloon Fiesta. So that was one style. Let me see what other glass we have here. I'll do another style. So we'll do the vertical gore style. And this style here actually is a little bit quicker because you don't have to do all the twisting and everything. But it takes a lot more color. It uses a lot more color glass. Technically, they should be valued more because they have more color. But being that I can make them a little bit quicker, it all, it all comes out in the wash. So then we just get this all rounded so, we don't have to add any color to it or anything like that yet. We're going to egg shape this a little bit. Basically making a water drop at the tip or teardrop shape or just rounding it up, just basically gathering some clear glass on the end there. And then let's see, what color am I going to use? I don't think I want to use up all of my white that I have until I get more. I can use this orange though. This will be a good one. All right. So this is basically like an orange crayon color, cadmium color, and got to bring down the flame just a little bit so it doesn't get all weird on me and saturate or boil, blister. You don't want to have too much oxygen compared to propane. You want more propane than oxygen working these colors here. So that's one thing blowing glass is learning the different colors, and that really only comes through from experience, playing with the different colors and seeing how you can manipulate them and work them in the flame. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. They're really close to the same color. I was like, do I want to do that? All right, so we're going to add one color there. So one more on the side here. And then what I try to do is make it sit in the center and pull it on the ends, on the top end and the bottom end, but make it so this is, I want it thin, then I want this part thick. So I lay it down, then I pull it to thin it out and taper that color. And then you get kind of a, it's thicker here, thinner on the top and the bottom. All right, and one more on this side right here. So, and with this being pulled, I can use that for that taper on top. So now you got that tapered, let it thicken, and then pull. See? So it's tapered on the top, thicker in the center, then thinner on the bottom. There. Little trick. And we'll do the same thing here. And like I said, these are pretty quick, because then I don't have to add all the other extra color, any clear glass for the gore, nothing like that. All right, now I'm going to preheat this a little bit so that way it can flow. Try to get it on the top, pull it, thicken it, then pull it. All right. Oh. I accidentally touched the color to the rod right there. That was interesting. All right. So now we got all the colors around there. We'll make sure that we keep that warm because it can crack the clear glass if we don't keep that heat on it. And now we're going to make sure that all the bottoms here, all these little bumps are all flattened. So we're going to use the paddle once again. And as we spin this, we're just going to let that just lay down like that. And just make sure those all get nice and flattened down towards that clear glass. So then the clear and the color now kind of taper down into each other like that, right? And then we got to get that classic balloon shaping once again, right? I'll bring up the flame just a little bit, but not too much, so we don't want to bubble it and boil it. We're going to hit it in the center on its thickest part right there, as you can see. That's where all that flame is where it's super bright. I still find that interesting. There was a couple people watching, and as soon as I said, "Hey, good morning," I see a couple people watching. How you guys doing? And they just took off and left. Like, oh, I'm out of here. One person left, and then the other one was like, "Oh, I don't want to be the only one here." All right, so now we just hit that up. We're trying to keep the heat away from that top because we really don't want to flatten the top, but we do want that center to bubble out. So like I said, these ones, I don't know if they're any quicker. We'll be able to see on the video here once I can go and check it out on the replay, and then we'll be able to see, are these any quicker or not? But basically this video is just to promote that I'm going to get started making these balloons once again. I already have custom orders. I always have custom orders for the hot air balloons. So I'm always busy with making custom replicas. And I have messages, like I don't know how many dozens of messages I have to get to still. I haven't even replied back to half of them, maybe even a lot more than that. I haven't replied back to a lot of them because, I just want to make sure once I get in touch with them that I know that, that it's time to make their balloon. And also, there's an automated messenger that lets people know that, hey, I have a lot of balloons I'm working on right now. Please send me a photo of your balloon that you'd like to have made, and I'll let you know if I can actually replicate it or not. Because there are some balloons out there. I ain't going to lie. There's some balloons out there that I can't replicate at all. There's no way I can replicate all the balloons that exist in this world. That's for sure. All right. And these ones, being that they're real thick with the color, I can melt these down a lot more than those other ones, because, the gore pattern is there. And I do want to make sure that the color glass is adhering and fusing to the clear glass as best as possible. That way we don't have any sort of cracking issues. Because when you add more color glass to any clear glass, the glass just becomes more stressed out. And that's what the kiln is for, and that's why we need a kiln. Some glass, is not as stressed out compared to others. So, you want to be able to kiln some glass right away, whereas some other glass, you don't even have to kiln at all. I've seen some glass that you don't kiln ever, and I've never seen it have issues with it cracking or breaking over a duration of 20 to 30 years. But having it kilned, having it fire annealed would be best, of course. All right, so now we're going to go on to putting the loop or the bail, and we'll just figure out what side do we like that looks the best, the cleanest, to be the front of the balloon. I'm thinking right there. So let me just add the loop here. I'll pull it, and we'll try to drop it to the opposite side. Sometimes I accidentally crisscross it to the wrong one, and then it's crooked, but I got that one. I'm not gonna lie, I need glasses. Being as old as I am nowadays, apparently my eyesight has given out a little bit. I barely passed my eye exam getting my driver's license recently, getting it renewed. I'm like, oh no, what am I supposed to do next time? I don't think I'm going to be able to read it next time. I think they said that, oh, you just have to come in with your glasses on, and you just do it with your glasses. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, well, I could probably read it with readers on. Can I just bring in some readers? I think I could do that. Because it's my nearsight vision that I'm having issues with. All right, cool. So then we do the puntee once again, just adding the puntee on the tip. And then we're going to clean up the bottom here. We're just going to taper it down. And we'll drop this one in the kiln. And I'm going to let you guys go now because we're about an hour in. I try to keep my videos about an hour or less if possible. I know sometimes there's some videos where I just got to go an hour, 2 hours, especially when I'm making something that's a little bit more elaborate, it takes a lot more time, or if we're just talking about something. But once again, just want to let you know that Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta tickets are now on sale. They went on sale last Friday. You can get a hold of Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Just give them a search online. I don't know what their website is, but maybe I'll put it down in the link in the comment below. I'll put their link down in the comments below or in the description. Probably be better just to put it in the description, and that way you can get your tickets. And you can also, I bet there's probably a couple links there where you can go to learn more about the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, the different history about it, how many people come. I'm sure that there is a huge question and answer area for their website. So go on ahead, check it out. And like I said, if you're going to be coming down, come on out, try to find us. If you can find me, come and say hi. Don't be shy. If I'm busy, just give me a moment to finish doing what I'm doing. So there'll be some times when I'll have definitely a lot of downtime, and then when we're setting up, depending on how big our crew is that day, it may be that all hands are needed on deck, or it could be that I might just be standing around and videoing everyone and going live and just kind of supervising and making sure that certain things are being done properly. Because we have new individuals that come and help us all the time, and so it's really good that we all double check each other and ensure that all safety has been covered. Because we're talking about flying a hot air balloon up in the sky at thousands, I maybe even 10,000 feet up in the sky. You definitely don't want to have any sort of accidents or issues. So it's really good that we all are working as a team and checking everyone, making sure everyone is good and doing their part. I've been crewing with this team for about 10 years now. I think this will actually officially be my 10th year coming up. I think I started in 2015, so I need to actually go back and check. You know how they do like Facebook memories? I'm sure I have photos from my very first balloon fiesta. All right, now we're going to taper this, clean it up. I made sure to pull all the colors and taper them down so that way none are floating. But now I need to taper this to get that good balloon shape. And I'm trying not to twist the colors on the bottom. So I'm being real gentle as I pull it. All right, now this one, being that it's got a little bit of that color and it gets pulled all the way. The other one had the spiral and mostly clear. So there's clear on the bottom. This one now has color going all the way to the bottom. We need to separate the balloon from the basket or from the gondola just a little bit to make it look like it's just hanging from nothing, because that's pretty much what a balloon looks like. When you're looking at the basket, you can't really see the cables, the ropes or the carabiners and the metal cables that is holding up everything, or everything being attached together and everything being held together in that way. So we'll add a little bit of clear glass to make that effect. And then there you go. There's another hot air balloon for you right there. And then you can see it's got the solid colors all going down. You can see it's thicker towards the tops up here and then pulled thin on the bottom. That's why we tapered it when we're laying it down. And then it really, really makes it look nice like that. So then we just take it off once again. And hopefully you just can snap off without dropping it. Sometimes it slips off the tweezers. And you just got to make sure it doesn't fall in your lap and burn your pants, burn your crotch. You don't want to have any accidents or issues. All right. And there you go. There's another one right there. I'm going to drop this one in the kiln right away. All right. And with that being said, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to continue working here, though. But I appreciate you guys coming through and checking out the video here. If you're interested in going to the Balloon Fiesta, it's coming up in October 2025 is the next one. I don't have a bumper sticker for next year's. I can't believe I did not get a bumper sticker for next year's. I don't know if I have any sort of promo for next year's for 2025. I don't think so. That's crazy. Usually I have a bumper sticker for each year coming up, and I didn't get it. So maybe I can go to the Balloon Fiesta office, talk to them about getting my hot air balloons in their gift shop there, and get some bumper stickers. If you guys want any bumper stickers, let me know. I'll try to get a couple extras, and I can ship them out with your glass balloons. All right. If you're interested in any glass balloons, find me at facebook.com/glass hot air balloons. And also, I think you can find it if you just put up /glass balloons. But put in glass hot air balloons and you'll definitely find my page there. You'll find all the different glass balloons I've made in the past years, for over decades now. And yeah, and then message me there if you'd like to put in a request. Also, if you're interested in wholesale and you want to get these to your festival, message me there as well, or comment below, and we can get the conversation going. All right, thanks a lot for tuning in and watching. I'm Dan the Glass Man, and you've been watching the Glass Man's World. Have a good day.